How's it going, everybody? My name is Tyler from Staple Media. Welcome back to a brand new roller coaster review. Today I'm going to be talking about the legendary Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket at Universal Studios Florida in Orlando. Now, recently, Universal Studios Orlando Resort announced that this ride will be closing. So I figured I should probably get a review of this thing done before the ride's closure, just in case some of you guys are going out to experience it before it's gone for good. Before we get any further into the review, I just wanted to say that if you enjoy the style of content, make sure you guys leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel, as it's completely free to do. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into the review of Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. Start off with some basic information here. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket is an X-Car coaster built by Maurer Rides, opened up in 2009. It's located at the very front of the park. Being in a very prime location, you would expect this to be a really pleasant ride experience considering, well, it's at the front of the park and it's also a Universal coaster. Universal Studios is known for having good, smooth, fun, reliable roller coasters. Well, unfortunately, that's really not the case with this one. I'm going to be totally honest about two things. The first thing is I actually really enjoy this coaster, and I will try to explain to you guys why. But the other thing is this ride is unbelievably rough for pretty much no reason. No matter what element you're taking, whether it be a turn, the not inverting loop, an airtime hill, or even just some straight track, you're going to be shuffling side to side and it could get quite uncomfortable. But even with that roughness, I'm honestly able to look past it because this ride provides some really good forces. Specifically, if you're in the front car, going up into the mid-course brake runs, and if you're in the back car, coming off the mid-course brake runs, both which offer excellent ejector airtime. No, I take that back. Not just excellent ejector airtime, some of the best ejector airtime that I have felt on any roller coaster ever. Do the mid-courses get a little bit annoying? Yes, but at least there's airtime to look forward to with them. Other than that, the ride also pulls some incredible positive G-forces, specifically in the big helix section over by the Jimmy Fallon attraction. The vertical lift and non-inverting loop are also really cool in their own right, although I don't really think the non-inverting loop really does all too much for me. The second half of the coaster, as you head more towards the front of the park, is definitely where the ride sort of starts to die out, but even then, there's still some good positive G-forces and a couple pops of airtime to be had. The restraints on this ride are really strange. Instead of like coming down towards you for your lap bar or coming over your shoulders like an over-the-shoulder restraint, they come at you from the side and clip into place, kind of going horizontally. It's really bizarre. Built into all of the trains is onboard audio, and when I rode it, the selection of songs you could choose from was absolutely incredible. My go-to every single time was Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. It was really fun riding this high-throw roller coaster and just hearing Fred Durst, be Fred Durst. Unfortunately, I guess there was some disagreement with Universal Media Group or something along those lines, and they had to pull a whole bunch of songs off of the attraction. I believe now they only limit you to one song per genre, which is honestly kinda sad. The biggest appeal of this roller coaster was being able to select your own song and your own ride experience, hence the name Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. And it really is a shame that that feature was definitely nerfed as time went on. Now, before I did say that this ride is quite honestly super rough. However, there is a couple tricks that you can use while riding this to make it a lot smoother. And the biggest one, and my biggest piece of advice for you, if you want a smoother ride, sit in the second row of any of the cars. This would be row 2 or row 5. If you sit on row 1, row 3, row 4, or row 6, you are going to be jackhammered half to death throughout the entire layout. My personal choice for this ride is row 5. That's my personal favorite row, but row 2 is equally as fun. If you have any loose articles, do be prepared to leave them inside of a locker outside the attraction. Just like a lot of the other coasters at Universal Studios Orlando, you do have to put your stuff in a locker and walk through a metal detector in order to board. This is to make sure no loose articles fall off the ride and hit the guests on the pathways. They're just being extra safe. Don't worry, the lockers are completely free. If you do have a really large bag, you will unfortunately have to pay for a bigger locker, but as long as you have a small backpack, fanny pack, purse, or even just stuff in your pockets that you don't want to lose while on the ride, the lockers are completely free and perfectly big enough for you to store everything. All you do is you scan your park ticket and it opens up. It's super nice. The queue line and the theming on the actual coaster are pretty bad for Universal standards. It does seem extremely dated, and I honestly wish that they would just redo the theming instead of getting rid of the ride entirely. But I understand, this ride is pretty rough. It's not extremely popular with the Universal Studios public. Well, yes, it does get long lines at the end of the day. This is Universal Studios we're talking about. This park does get extremely long waits. The waits aren't as bad as other roller coasters in the park, such as Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, and even Revenge of the Mummy right next door. I also wanted to discuss real quick the ride's reliability. Now, as far as mechanical breakdowns, during my, how many days was I there? Gosh, 11 days at the Universal Orlando Resort, I didn't actually really notice any mechanical breakdowns. However, this ride will close for the lightest wind and the lightest rain. Someone could spit on the station platform and that'd be too much moisture for this ride to run. They will close this ride down for inclement weather for literally anything. The storm could be 10 miles away and not even coming through Orlando, and they're like, we gotta close down for inclement weather, guys, it's safety. Which I completely understand. It's better to keep everybody safe, make sure everyone is safe. That's number one priority, but it is kind of funny having a Universal coaster be this unreliable for weather. So in conclusion, I think that Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, in my opinion, is a fun but very flawed roller coaster. Am I sad that it's leaving? Absolutely. I think that you guys should give this ride a chance if you've never done it, but I do completely understand if you don't like it, because, well, it's pretty rough. For its final score, I'm going to be giving Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit a 7 out of 10. Do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.